have people in the United States, self-professed Christians, who are sending money to oppress Christians in the Middle East.
That's the sad irony in all of this, is that a lot of the money that comes from churches, even before the war, goes not just to the Israeli military, but to the building of settlements. Many of these settlements are built on land confiscated from Palestinians, and in many cases from Palestinian Christian families. So I hope you understand again how.
All right. So one of the things that always often comes out in these conversations is the land confiscation argument, right? So let me give you some background. In the late 1800s, actually middle 1800s, this whole area was under control of the Ottoman Empire. And the Ottoman Empire was really concerned about the plight of particularly the super poor farmers who just were squeaking by. They had almost nothing, right? And so they did basically a Land Reform Act. And the Land Reform Act basically kind of made this rule, and it kind of took the power, some of the power away from the super rich landholders who were sitting in Damascus or Beirut or like somewhere just in the Middle East. They're just chilling, right? And all these super poor people were just like eking it by, just barely getting by. And so they did this Land Reform Act and basically said that if you don't use the land within 3 years, like show that you're using it, grazing or planting crops or planting trees, or like you're using the land. If you're not using the land within 3 years, it becomes state land. And then the state has the ability to basically sell it, give it away, So they had almost like a homesteading act, if you will, like we have in the United States, where you can get a piece of land super cheap, but you got to do something with it, right? It's not just like sit on it. And so that land confiscation thing is there's a lot of land that has gone unused, and people claim it's theirs, but they have no deed. They have no proof it's theirs. All they are is like, oh, it's ours. And the thing is that law, which was by the Ottomans, got affirmed by the British when the British were in charge. It got affirmed by the Jordanians when the Jordanians were in charge of the West Bank. The reason it's called the West Bank is because Jordanians, West Bank is Jordan. And it was then affirmed by Israel when Israel took over as well. And so that's where we're at right now, is that, unless you like, and in some instances, there are several instances in which Palestinians have been able to show that not only that they had the title deed back to the Ottoman period, and it had been actively used without a loss of 3 years, that the Jewish settlement that was on that property, the houses that were on that property, they got torn down. It exists. And if you want to ask me later, I'll point them out to you. Okay.